Good morning, I'm Anne from Ambry Acres and welcome to our channel. It's the beginning of December and it's a pretty great day because we're going to get some weather. As you can see behind me, the corn's all been harvested, the field's been worked, and they're calling for possibly up to 30 centimeters of snow today and overnight. So we're down at the sheep barn and we're going to be dealing with straw and closing up the buildings. We have to make sure that they don't get wind and inside the barn, because they'll get a draft, and we don't that's not how we operate here. We need to keep the barns closed up and lots of straw inside so that they're kept warm and dry. Here's a look at the exterior of the east end of the coverall. So the door's opened and we'll be shutting that, and you can see at the west end the boys have already got that closed up. So we'll be working at straw, closing up the buildings, and shutting the doors. We're going to be pushing the flock onto the one side in barn one and closing it up. We got them all on the one side right now. We're going to get some weather today and overnight, so we're going to be fixing up this barn with lots of straw, closing up the doors, and preparing for our first winter storm. We're calling for maybe 30 centimeters of snow potentially tonight. Otherwise it'll be freezing rain. Now, in order to do that with ease, we're going to push them all out into another barn. And this makes for a great time for us to be assessing their body condition and their feet and identifying if there's any that should be culled. It's a bit of a pile up at the exit of the door, of the barn rather. We'll just stand back here, give them some space, and they'll take themselves out into the alley, which will run to where we have our handling system set up in the other barn. That'll take a few minutes. Now we're going to use the tag reader and we'll be able to identify some of their issues if they have any issues. We'll also be able to check their udders, and if there's any indication that if they have any body condition issues whatsoever, we will look at the history of their lambing over the last 3 years, and those are some of the factors that will help us determine whether we keep or sell any of them. So now they're going to go down to the other barn at the end. We're going to push down 4 barns, and again they're just taking themselves. They just go slowly and then they'll start running again. You see their eyes glowing? And once they get down to the handling system barn, we have a holding pen here, and they will just, because they're accustomed to going through the system, they typically just take themselves through the race. So we use 2 holding pens here. We use them here, and then we have the second one back here. And we just leave them in here and they can enter the race anytime they want. If you want to come in and out of it, that's fine. But once these ones go in, see, they just go in on their own. I just back up a little bit and then they start going in, because they're accustomed to going in the race, so they're not afraid of it. And then once these ones go in, then I'll open up the gate and let the rest of them in. And then again, it's hog panels everywhere. Hog panels here, just containing them so they don't jump up. They don't have the whole space, and it keeps them contained in this small pen, and that encourages them to go inside the race. The only disadvantage here is having them on both sides of the gate is that the ones on the left of the screen tend to want to connect with the ones on the right of the screen, so every once in a while I'll have to go in between the gate and get them to circle around to enter into the race. But it all works out. straw in here without the animals. The animals will return now that the straw, doors are closed. We're all set for the potential snowstorm. Let's take a look at how clean the straw is, okay? Someone has asked me through one of the other videos, like, how do we clean the barn and what do we do with the manure pack? We do have to remove the manure pack a couple times a year, and then here, this straw is so clean that, you know, it's clean enough to sit on. So here's a spot that's packed down, right here. It's at the edge of our step. This is an indication of that would be dirty. I wouldn't sit on that, would you? And therefore, if it was all looking like that, they would be dirty, and they could get sick as well. So, we want their wool to be nice and clean and healthy. The animal to be healthy, and the straw here is an indication of how clean it should be. And we will clean this out a couple times a year using the tractor. It's too large of a space to do without using machinery. We allow it to build up to for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to create the right temperature in here. It's going to allow it to be either warmer for the winter or cooler for in the summertime. And over here, as you can see at the feeding alley, the step, that here is a step for them to step up on. Okay, if need be, to reach the feed. And if the manure gets way too high and it gets to this height, well then obviously it's too high and it's past the time to clean it out. So we do have other videos showing cleaning out the barn and placing straw, and if you're interested in looking at that. And regarding the manure, once the bedding pack has been removed from the barn, we clean the manure out a couple of times a year. It's then put into onto a concrete manure pile. It's concrete based, and it's got 6-foot poles, and it allows the manure to compost for a year before spreading it onto the worked field. So here's the manure pile from this past year, and it's on a concrete pad. It's got concrete walls on 3 sides to hold it in, and it will just compost itself. It'll get turned a couple of times. But this is the quantity that we get from about a year's worth of sheep manure, and it'll be spread onto the fields as fertilizer. Hi again. So we did in fact get some snow, but we didn't get the 30 centimeters. We're happy to say we only got about 15, and it's still pretty gray. Might get a little bit more snow again today. Actually, it might be snowing a touch there now. But the long-range forecast is calling for a whole bunch of rain next week and above 0 temperatures. So this snow is not here to stay. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.